We could die at the apartment anytime. Hello everyone, Stories Boss here. Let's begin. This happened in 2018. I just moved to a new apartment. It was a 3-bedroom, first-floor apartment, and it had a finished basement. It had 2 bedrooms, a living room, and a kitchen on the first floor. It also had a bedroom with a full bath in the basement and a bar/gaming area. It was also in a very nice area of the city. The apartment was owned by a corporation. Honestly, we loved that apartment until it kept having recurring issues in the basement. The carpet was wet from time to time. At first, the landlord would send a cleaner to come and handle it, but it keeps happening. I asked them to check and fix the issue. They did not do it. I told them I'll call the city inspector to check the building. They laughed at me and told me, "Go ahead, call the city inspector." So I did. I called the city twice until I finally was connected to the right department, and they sent an inspector a week later. The inspector found so many building violations. They told me they'd contact the building owner and would come again. The next day, the owner called and begged me to tell them what I know about the problem with the apartment. I told them that if I sent complaints multiple times, they should check their record. The city inspector, the owner, and the property manager came 2 weeks after that. The city inspector was whooping their asses. He laid into them. It was bad. They have to deal with the structural and foundational issues and some safety issues too. There were 4 tenants in that building, including us. Imagine it was a big colonial multifamily home divided into 4 apartments. They had to break the lease with all of us to fix the building. They couldn't fix it up with us being there. We were ready and already consulted a lawyer. We told them that we want our deposit back before moving out. They paid for all our moving expenses. They paid for our deposit at the next place. They could not kick us out. They could not rent the apartment after the inspections. There were 4 of us, and we would all sue them for placing us in a dangerous building. In the end, they spent so much money to relocate us and fix the apartment. You could die any time if you ignore the problems in the apartment. It might collapse if an earthquake happens due to structural and foundational issues. Did you check that there are fire extinguishers available inside? In case of a small fire, at least you could grab that and stop it from spreading. Issues like that shouldn't be ignored. It might cost a life. Management got upset and forced us to work the whole day. Many years ago, I worked as an engineer repairing retail customer PCs. Our team was small, and there were often times when the amount of PCs needing repair was more than the team could get through during normal hours. In these circumstances, we were allowed voluntary overtime on Saturday and would get time and a half for it. The rules of the overtime were flexible. We could start when we wanted, and we could finish when we wanted, and we would get paid each full 60 minutes we were clocked in for. Back then, my girlfriend, now wife, used to work until 2 p.m. on a Saturday, so I would go in for 9:30 a.m. and leave at 1:30 p.m., giving me plenty of time to pick her up. This worked out great for everyone. However, the company structure was a little strange, with the front-facing customer service under the management of one director and the back of house, including my team, under the management of another, and they despised each other, constantly trying to cause each other problems. And of course, the workers were always caught in the middle. One fateful Saturday, I was working and noticed the front-facing director walk up, see that I was there, and move on without saying anything. I didn't think anything of it, and a short while later left at 1:30 as normal. I got in as normal on Monday to find I had a meeting request from my director. Confused, I attended the meeting and found both my director and the front director also there. Turns out the front director had arranged for a customer to bring in their PC for an urgent repair on Saturday, having confirmed I was there to fix it. On-the-spot repairs were very rare, reserved for only the most problematic or highest spending customers. Me not being there to look at it had caused the customer to have a meltdown in the shop in front of many other customers. Of course, the front director took the opportunity to bring this up with the MD to get one up on my director, leading to the Monday meeting, where she was out for my blood. Luckily, as the overtime rules for our department were clear and I followed them, there was no direct action taken against me, with my director for supporting me. However, one thing that did come from this was that we lost our flexible overtime. From that point on, if we wanted to do an overtime on a Saturday, we must be there for the whole day. As I wasn't willing to lose my entire Saturday, overtime stopped. It took less than a month for the department backlog to hit over 100 units. Our target was to have less than 15 at the end of each day. I'd originally wondered why my director didn't put up a fight with the new rule set, but it didn't take long to see the number of customer service complaints and call waiting times skyrocket, all of which was the front director's responsibility. Not long after, my director approached me, smiling, to let me know that the front director had gone to the MD, first to try to force us to do overtime, and when that failed, begged for the new rule to be removed. So the next Saturday, I was back earning a little extra cash, and that director didn't try try to screw around with our hours again. I prefer a fixed overtime rate. I also worked for a company that gives us fixed overtime. Like, we work 9 hours daily on weekdays, half day on Saturday. You get 1 hour daily on weekdays as fixed overtime. Then you won't get worried about how your weekend ends. Regardless of customer crises, work should be adjusted before the availability of workers. The field of your work is not that demanding on time. Like repairing retail PCs can be done the next day unless it is badly urgent. If management really cares about you, workers, they should hire more workers then. I almost wanted to punch the stranger I met at the wedding. Okay, as weird as it sounds, about 2 weeks ago I had a wedding, attending to a friend. I, 27-year-old male, considered myself an average guy. No six-packs, yes, I do work out, ears pierced, and I am comfortable with myself. Long story, at this wedding, I didn't know anyone except for a couple of people because it was my girlfriend's friend's wedding that we attended. My girlfriend was busy with her friend doing some stuff like taking pictures, etc. This wedding took place at the soon-to-be husband's house. I decided since my girlfriend is busy, I will go make some new friends and have a couple drinks. I was having a great time talking to everyone, even with the kids. My girlfriend considers me good with kids. These random guys show up. He looks normal. You can't tell if anything is wrong with him. He starts to converse with me. It was going great. But this is where it gets weird. He starts asking me, "Oh, where are you from? What do you do? You should meet my friends. Have you seen my friends or my cousins? You should meet them." Okay, like it wasn't that bad, but it gets worse. Some lawn guys were chipping trees, and some of the wood specks got on my hair. I didn't notice. I was walking around trying to get away from the guy with 1,000 questions about me, and he follows me inside the house, waits for me after I'm done using the bathroom, and asks me where I'm going and follows. I try to go hang out with the kids age 8 to 14, playing games with them, and he tries to join. I go outside, he follows, and I finally give up and sit on a single chair. He grabs a chair and sits next to me, like knees close. This time I had it. He saw wood chips on my hair. He starts to ask questions again, and he moves his knee toward me. Then he says, "You got wood chips on your hair," and I brushed them off. He soon raised his hands and caressed my hair, and I could feel him scratching my scalp. I was shaking. This isn't my house. I wanted to punch the guy. I instantly moved back and got up and went to this other guy who I barely knew and asked if I had wood on my hair. He said I did a little, and I went to the bathroom to brush it off. The chips were in the back of my head. Yes, he followed me to the bathroom and waited. He follows me, and when I lose him, he ends up finding me somehow, and he'll say, "Bro, where have you been? It's been so long that you've been gone. Everyone's been looking for you." Like I said, I didn't even know anyone there. I DK what to feel. So I told my girlfriend I wanted to go home. At the wedding, I told her that guy keeps touching me, asking me thousands of questions, and keeps following me. It made me uncomfortable to a point where I was going to swing at him, my natural way of getting people to back off. We did leave. Then I found out that the dude was 31, and his dad was there at the wedding. I remember conversing with his dad, and he said his only and oldest son still lives with him and that he doesn't work. I offered the dad a job for his son, but he said he doesn't know if it'll work out. This is before I knew the guy following me was his son. Now I'm putting two and two together. He thinks he's special and doesn't know boundaries. But I don't know how to feel because when I sat down and his son was trying to caress me, his dad looked. Yes, I saw his eyes looking at me and turned the other way. I don't know what to feel about it, to be honest. That feels strange at first, right? But at the end of the story, the guy was his son who you talked to lately and you offered a job for his son. Maybe the father talked right away to his son about what you just said. Then that guy starts following you and he wants to be friends with you, but he just did it too much. You don't even know each other. You were right. He doesn't know boundaries. And maybe because he was raised alone at home, might not have friends or whatever. He seems like a loner. Sad for him. I wonder if he has a girlfriend or a wife. I have to avoid customers at my job. After working retail for 6 years, my patience for customers and people in general has thinned greatly. I work overnights at my job and only have to deal with them 2 hours out of my entire shift now. We used to be 24 hours. But in those 2 hours, I'll take as many detours as I have to avoid a customer if I see one. If I can't avoid them, I'll keep my head down and not make eye contact or acknowledge them. I've been getting away with it for 2 years now. If I do have to help them, I'm not explicitly rude, but I'm not friendly towards them. I don't make jokes or endear myself to them in any way. Haven't heard any whiny complaints so far, but even if I do get written up or even fired for this, I won't regret it. I'll be okay. Working in retail has taught me a lot about people, mainly that people will always look down their nose at you for working a minimum wage job while they have a more prestigious job and make more money. Doesn't matter how friendly you are or how well acquainted you are with the customer. If they don't get their way, they will return on a dime, and because become the biggest, most entitled piece ever. Why would I respect someone like that, who acts like so entitled and thinks less of me as a person for simply working here? Customers, especially these days, do not deserve friendly customer service because too many of them are automatically disrespectful by default, simply because they can be. Edit LOL. Clearly, I hit a nerve of some actual customers here. Why don't you be courteous and polite to the very people who treat you like shit for no reason and disrespect you for simply working in retail? Yeah, okay guys. Working in retail is difficult, tiring, and unrewarding. I'm in the same boat as you. I hope you are able to discover opportunity to pursue a career that you enjoy.